Hey bro, do you want to know what made me stick to the good habits in the long run without quitting after a couple of weeks? So it's after I grasped this concept about habit formation, and trust me, like it took me a long time for me to implement this into my own life. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys wouldn't be able to implement it straight away as well, because it takes some time to understand this process really well. So what I'm trying to do here is shortcut your process in terms of learning this concept and applying it into your own life. It's actually a couple of concepts, so I'll make it pretty brief and easy for you to understand. So it's pretty much like the concept is habit formation, right? So there's three stages to habit formation. Literally the first stage is trigger, and the second stage is routine, and the third stage is reward, right? So the routine is like the actual habit that takes place, and the reward is in most cases dopamine release in your brain, so that you come back and do the habit over and over again, right? So most YouTubers and these online gurus and people online only talk about the routine. So they just go oh, the best 7 habits that got me to $1 million, or they just focus on the routine, which is the actual habit itself. So that's not gonna do much in terms of habit formation, um, because it only focuses on one stage of the habit formation, the stages. The thing is, there's a trigger and a reward in every habit that you do, whether it's a bad habit or a good habit. So every habit has these two components in it. So let's take a real life example then. How would you put this into a real life example? So say you want to start exercising regularly, right? So if you want to start exercising regularly, what would be the trigger then? The trigger would be you making your pre-workout drink the night before, and putting it in the fridge, and it's easy for you to take it out and drink it, and then just the steps of the routine takes place afterwards. So it's easy for you to get into the rhythm and get into the routine after you complete the trigger part of it, if that makes sense. So yeah, and obviously the reward would be the endorphins and um the dopamine that will be released after you do the exercise. So, and the routine part will be obviously the exercise itself. So yeah, that will be the three stages that you would do if you want to take it into a real life example, just exercising regularly, right? And with time, you get accustomed to the habit so much that you don't really think oh yeah, this is the trigger, and this is the routine, and this is the reward, right? So you just do these things on autopilot. So you prepare your overnight whatever, your pre-workout drink or whatever overnight, and it just becomes habit, right? So you don't have to think about it too much. And if you take our exercising example, your literally your identity would change, right? So the more we do a certain habit, the more our identity changes, and the better we carry ourselves, or even the worse we carry ourselves if we do a bad habit, right? So that is the core part of it, as in you need to do more identity based habits, because it literally changes your identity and makes you into a whole different person, right? In this example of exercising regularly, you would literally think of yourself as an athlete instead of just your regular Joe, your regular Joe Schmo, right? So yeah, it's very powerful after you grasp this concept of the trigger, the routine, and the reward. So, and you change your identity in the process, and it's a beautiful process, right? And that obviously leads to other habits as well, like eating healthy. If you take our exercise example, so it's sort of like a spider web, you literally start with one habit, which is exercising regularly, and you start doing that habit pretty often, and you change your identity, and then you start with another habit, which is eating healthy. So yeah, you just do the process that I outlined before with the trigger, routine, and reward. sort of thing. So that just changes your whole lifestyle, and like it just makes you a better person at the end of the day, right? This is the thing with like habits, right? You need to like change your surroundings in a way that makes you want to do the habit in the first place. This is what like James Clear in the book Atomic Habits goes through as well. Like you need to change your surroundings. You need to make the trigger like more obvious than it really is, and you need to go through the process of like the three stages, obviously. So you just start with the trigger, and then the routine, and the reward. And with habits as well, like the more like negative habits that you do, like the more bad habits that you do, um the more of a negative identity that you associate yourself with, right? So you want to remove that and do just good habits, and like, just form a new identity, and on top of that a new identity, and on top of that new identity. So you form this, this masculine high value man, you know what I mean? And with me as well, like I've struggled with habits like a lot. I've struggled with bad habits, I've struggled with good habits. But after I like grasped this concept of like trigger trigger, routine, and reward, I've come to realize that it's not just routine, right? It's a trigger. Start with the trigger. So I just make myself really accustomed to like these trigger parts of the habits as well. So like, if I have to exercise, I mean exercise is like, like front of mind for me. Like it just happens like on autopilot. I don't have to think about exercise anymore because I've been exercising for like 7 years straight. So I don't have to really worry about that, right? But eating healthy and like things like this, I obviously need to eat a little bit more healthy. So like, you know, I keep my cues, I keep my triggers in a way that is easy for me to recognize and be like, okay, I need to eat this at this time, and I make it easy for myself, right? I don't make it hard on myself. See, if there's always like friction for you to do something, then you wouldn't really do it, right? If there's a lot of friction, like if your gym is like, say, like 20-30 minutes away, you wouldn't really go because like you think of all these like excuses. You'd be like, oh, it's gonna take so much petrol. It's gonna take so much time for me to get there. By the time I get there, like I'll already be like kind of tired. So like I really don't want to do this. And it's winter as well. Like it's hailing, it's winter, it's snowing, whatever. Like you give yourself like so many excuses. You pile up so many excuses that you don't really want to do anything. So you just make it easy on yourself as possible. Choose the closest gym to your house, sort of thing, and like you go. You know what I mean? So I'll leave you guys with that, and hopefully you learned something from this video, and make sure you leave a like and share share it with your boys, and yeah, I'm out pretty much. So peace.